Yes, people. We are back on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube channel for another Manchester United match reaction. Manchester City 3, Manchester United nil. Manchester City 3, Manchester United nil, as Manchester United lose the derby in what was a terrible performance and a terrible result and just terrible all around. And before I get into my actual breakdown and analysis of the game, this manager should be sacked. Ruben Amorim must go. To anyone watching this right now, it's over with this manager. It's done. It's finito. It's the end of the road. Word to Ian Beale, there's nothing left. That's it. To all the people who had all this delusion and hope and optimism and all this other nonsense over the summer, it's a wrap, people. That performance right there is not a surprise. The result right there is not a surprise. That tells you all you need to know, people. It's over. Anyone who backs this ownership for backing this manager is crazy, because all they had to do was sack this manager. That's it. That's all they had to do. There's no way he should have got to this game. He shouldn't have been in charge for the Burnley game. Shouldn't have been in charge for the Grimsby game. Shouldn't have been in charge for the Fulham game. Shouldn't have been in charge for the opening game against Arsenal. How this manager continues to underperform massively, do an absolutely horrendous job, diabolical job. One of the worst win percentages in the history of the Premier League, not just Manchester United, the history of the Premier League. And they still chose to keep this man. This is what you get. Like I said, I'm going to get to my analysis of the players, my analysis of the game overall. But I have to start with the manager because the book stops with him. And the fact that this ownership have kept him and just continue to bury their head in the sand, you have ample opportunity, platinum opportunities to sack him. Platinum, people. Not gold, platinum opportunities. Today is another one. Manchester derby, horrendous performance, because people were talking about big game this. It's a derby. Anything can happen. The players are not playing for him. They are flat. The same way I feel watching it, just absolutely flat. The players look like it. There's no belief. We don't do anything with any intent. We don't do anything with any purpose. We don't do anything with any aggression. None of it. It's over. It's done. Sack the manager. He should be sacked tonight. Like I said, you've had platinum opportunities just this season alone. And this is another one. Shouldn't have made it after Grimsby. And now you've got a second one. Sack him. And the season can still be salvaged because it's early. But will they? No. Because the ownership are just going to be pig-headed like they was with Ten Hag. It's like he's not turning it around, people. It's done and dusted. It's over with. Now, in regards to the actual game itself, seeing the lineup, and I wasn't too bothered about the lineup, to be honest. I was like, buying there and goal, didn't like, but I did get that one wrong because I was 110% sure he was going to make a mistake for a goal. He didn't. Seeing the back three, I was like, cool, Yoro all right, Delit all right, cool, sure. I was like, all right, got that one horrendously wrong, but we'll get into that. Midfield, never happy with it. Magate, Bruno in the pivot, never going to be happy with it, never. Maz, good to see him back. Wing back, cool. Dog, you at wing back, cool. And the front three, I was like, okay, we can actually do something in regards to the front three. And Bramo in the right 10, Ahmad left 10, Sesko up top. And let's start with the attackers. Poor. Not all of them, but they have to be held accountable. Poor performances. And Bramo, who I rate very, very highly, poor performance today. Did nowhere near enough. Despite the fact he looked the most likely, did nowhere near enough. Ahmad, poor. Again, looked better when he went to wing back. Didn't do enough. Hasn't really been good this season as well. And as for Sesko, someone who I was criticized for criticizing the signing, because people told me about the potential, his ceiling, the sell-on value. Wait till we get to 2027, 28, 2029 and his prime. We need players for now. Because as poor as Manchester United were, attacking-wise, he gave us nothing. Granted, the service into him wasn't the best, but at least Embremo looked more likely than him. Ahmad, when he went to wing back, getting in the final third, looked more likely than him. Gave us nothing. And this is not me saying he's not good enough. I just have my doubts. And I said this when Manchester United make a signing and United fans try to argue me down and they praise him by stating, oh, his ceiling, oh, his potential. I already know what it is. Because when we was linked to Belieber, people, there was no talk of his potential, his ceiling, or his sell-on value. Bear in mind, they're all much more higher than Benjamin Sesko Belieber. I think his ceiling is better. I think his potential is better, and his sell-on value is way better. But no one spoke about that when it came to Belieber. You know why? Because Belieber is a quality player as of now, and he's younger. So that was my concerns with Sesko. But like I said, he wasn't good enough today. And Bremo Ahmad nowhere near at it. Poor. And what annoys me about this, because people have spoke all season long about Manchester City being defensively vulnerable and how they're not good defensively and how you can get out their defense. So where was that today? Our attackers didn't do enough. And that's not solely on them whatsoever. Now, in regards to, let's go to our midfield, people. Let's go to our midfield. Mr. Bruno Fernandes, you know, the captain, leader, legend, all of this nonsense, and how where would we be without him? Well, look where we are with him yet again, people. And I'm even talking about the goal. I'm just talking about his overall performance. Didn't do enough with, I mentioned the attack and not getting the ball into the final third enough with quality, and he's a part of that. Wasn't on it today. I can't even say he wasn't on it today because it's a typical Bruno performance. Let me not even give him credit for that. I can't even say, he was off it today. That's a typical Bruno performance in that pivot. Some of them passes there, sloppy, careless. So, and he's supposed to be the ball playing midfielder in the two and getting us going and getting the ball into the final third with quality, getting it into the two wing backs, whoever they are, with quality. Did nothing in particular in that first half. How many saves of note did Donnarumma make in terms of the first half? And we had enough of the ball, people, because we actually had more possession than Manchester City had. So we kept the ball, quote unquote, well, like going side to side. But what did we offer going forward? It got a little bit better when the game's dead and Xerxes gets on the pitch and Mano gets on the pitch. And I mentioned it right at the start of this as well. Luke Shaw. Last time I want to see him starting. This is 2025 and Luke Shaw is still starting. Even I gave him not a blind, but I thought, all right, left-sided centre-back in a 3, you'll be okay from a defensive standpoint. Dreadful today. The fact that Yoro got taken off before him is an absolutely diabolical decision from the manager. But we'll get to that. Also to Potter Maguire, which is diabolical. But Shaw, dreadful. All 3 goals we conceded, he played a part in. He played a part in the first one, Dogu going past him. And granted, Dogu is a very direct dribbler, but we seen when De Ligt was right side centre back, that's how you deal with Dogu. Doku, sorry, people, not Dogu. I keep mixing those two up. That's how you deal with Doku. We know Doku is a very direct player. We know this, but you know how to deal with that. And he goes past him easily. Foul him if that's the case. Way too easy, Luke Shaw. Way too easy. Then the ball drops back to, then Agate gets across. It gets blocked. It goes back to Doku, and Doku crosses it in. And guess who for the second game, for the second time in 4 Premier League matches, is not tracking their runner? Who would have thought? Bruno Fernandes, yet again. You know why? Because he's not a central midfielder. He is a final third player. And that falls on the manager. As much as I criticize Bruno for that, and I'm going to in a second, I blame the manager for that. Because Bruno's best attributes are in the final third. He gets goals, he gets assists, he'll pick up the ball, shoot from 25 yards, and it will go in. He's a volume. He'll continue to play passes. So he's going to eventually get assists. That is his game. Put him in front of goal. Get him into the penalty area. But you've taken someone whose all their best attributes is final third and moved them further away from the goal, where you expose all their weaknesses as they are being exposed. As they got exposed in the Europa League final when he misplaced the pass. And then Spurs broke and ended up scoring. As Smith Rowe ran off him for the Fulham goal. As Foden, you know what's crazy about the whole attack? As much as, because Dogu went past Shaw, and then Agate got across. He crossed, and then he crossed it. Doku crossed it. It hit Agate, bounced back to Doku. And then all this, Bruno has no idea where Foden is. Watch it again, people. Put it in slow motion. Watch it again. Bruno doesn't know where Foden is until Foden's wheeling away for the celebration. He doesn't have a clue. He does not look over his left. So say this is here on the right-hand side. So Shaw's over there. Doku's on the ball, etc. He doesn't check his shoulder once. Why don't you check your shoulder? Any defensive midfielder does this. and looks to the other side, and then you go and mark him, and then he doesn't score that goal. Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. And this stems from the manager playing him in a role and wanting to keep him. This stems from the board wanting to keep him, which was an absolute nonsense. And also him, because where's your, even though you're an attacking midfielder, where is you're supposed to be responsible? Where's the responsibility? Where's the accountability? And look at his reaction when the goal goes in. Throws his arms up in the air. Don't blame himself. That's not solely on you, but you played a large part in that goal. So hold him accountable, people, as if that was, if he had ran off Maguire, for example. Because if he had ran off Maguire, for example, we'd crash it on Maguire. Same way we crash it on Onana if he makes a mistake, for example. Same way if Højlund was still here and making mistakes, for example. So hold that same energy. Again, that's what leaders do. Lead. Hold yourself accountable. Check your shoulder. The second goal, even though people criticize, I actually think for the first time in a long time, we've conceded to a good team goal. Even though there's parts, any goal you concede, you can probably do better. Unless someone picks it up from 40 yards and whacks it top bins. And then even then you could say, all right, why didn't you close him down? But the second goal, I think, was actually just a good team goal. O'Reilly throws it in. Foden knocks it back to him. Nice megs from O'Reilly. Foden round the corner. Doku does do a good job in holding off Euro. And then Haaland is just too strong for sure. It's a great run from Haaland. It's a fantastic run from Haaland. And it's a great finish as well. Shaw maybe should have given him a couple yards. I don't know why you're touch tight to Haaland. I don't know about that. Haven't seen the full breakdown of the goal as to why you touch that. You know Haaland's going to spin you. But for that one, actually, if people want to criticize him for that first, but I think it was a good team goal and they moved it well. As for the third goal, stems from the manager. Why is Maguire getting on? Why is Euro being taken off and Shaw's been at fault for two of the goals? You could argue. I personally think, yeah, because he is at fault for the second goal, even though it's not fully on him. So why is Euro coming off and not Luke Shaw, who hasn't played well? He was the worst centre-back out of the three. He's made what I say is he's made the worst mistake for that second goal. Because if he's not touch tight to Haaland, he just clears that. You got to know what Haaland's going to do. Like I said, shocking. And yeah, back to the third goal. Maguire run. Why are you bringing on a centre-back when we're losing 2-0? And then also Shaw plays a part in the third goal because as much as people will criticize Maguire, and I will in a second, Shaw's back pass to him, horrible, dreadful, absolutely terrible. Look at the pass back into him. And then Maguire, because he has to stretch for it, should lift it. You got to be smart enough. Don't go short. Clear it out, and then you shout at Shaw after and say, what a terrible pass. And then the pass gets cuts out, it breaks to Haaland, and Haaland's never going to miss. So Shaw's played a part in all three goals. Maguire's played a part in the third goal as well. Bruno's played a part in the first goal. Players that shouldn't be playing. Quite frankly, players that shouldn't be playing, players that shouldn't be at the football club, players who have been making mistakes for years now. Shaw has been a negative for Manchester United for years now. Maguire's been a negative for Manchester United for years now. Bruno Fernandes has been a negative for Manchester United for years now. Even though he started off on a plus. He started off on a positive, getting the goals and assists in the first half of the season and then the season after that. But after that, you've just been a detriment. Three of our worst four finishes have come under his leadership. Hold him accountable. Because if we had won 3 leagues in 4 years and it was under his leadership, people will be waxing lyrical about him and talking about what a great leader he is and look at what he's done. So on the flip side, we have to hold him accountable. It's not solely on him, but you take a large proportion because you play every game and you are the captain. And this ties back into the manager as well. You back this. Because what's crazy is when the watch along and Bruno made a mistake and he misplaced a pass. It was in the second half down the line. He was looking for Dorgu and he kicked it out. And he was shaking his head and Sheik went, this happens all of the time. You chose to keep this man. You know what he is. What are we doing here? Dreadful. Just dreadful all around. And he'll sack this manager tonight. It's over. It's a wrap, people. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's almost been 15 minutes. And yeah, in particular, I want to hear from the people who are positive this season. What's your analysis on not just this game? Obviously, people get your comments in regards to what I've said about the game. That's fine. But people's overall, your Manchester United fans who are confident going into the season. What's your analysis now? All this optimism and hope, and I say it all the time, optimism and hope is too close to delusion. That's why I don't deal with it. I look at things logically. I look at things from a balanced perspective and see, all right, wait, so why were we going to have a successful season this season? All this nonsense I heard, new players, preseason, or how we looked in training. What else was there? Or 1 game a week. Word to Kaneki, I wouldn't trust this lot with 1 game a month. So what are we talking about here? How's it looking now? Are you lot confident going into Chelsea? Are you lot confident for Brentford? Are you lot confident for Sunderland? I already know the answer to that. But yeah, run up the likes, hit the subscribe button, make sure you share this out across all the socials, people. Big up. I'm out.